Hi, I'm Max. I'm an engineer and inventor, and I have accidentally invented a machine that opens portals to other dimensions. I've been traveling to these other parallel dimensions for a few months now, and I've seen a lot of bizarre worlds very different from our own. I've been learning all kinds of amazing things, and I've managed to bring back some really interesting stuff, like a spinning cyborg ear and this all-text phone that supposedly contains all of the technology from a world without television, where they've cured cancer, developed cold fusion, just a bunch of really incredible stuff. For the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to get some sort of data out of this phone. The Wilson that gave it to me said that it has a search feature and I can just type anything in, but it seems like no matter what I search for, it just keeps displaying instructions for baking some kind of cake. That's supposed to look like an atomic disintegration mousetrap. I don't know. There is a button on the keyboard here that looks like the symbol for an atom. I've been reluctant to touch it because I think it might have something to do with the phone's cold fusion power source, but nothing else I've tried so far has worked, so here goes nothing.
Please state your query.
Ooh, it must be a microphone button. Great.
Unrecognized query.
Oh, sorry. Let me try that again. Push the button here again.
Please state your query.
How does cold fusion work?
Voice match not recognized. Please verify access by answering the following series of basic technology questions. Question 1. What is the formula for dense 37th order string superposition?
What now?
Incorrect.
No.
Next question.
Man.
What is the 7th step in the process of building a super collider?
These are basic technology questions?
Incorrect.
No,
Next question.
No.
Recite trillion's constant to 42 places.
Who on earth is Trillion?
Incorrect. Access
What?
denied. User must demonstrate at least a third grade level understanding of core technology concepts in order to access technology blueprints.
Crap. Come on, give me another chance. People sometimes make mistakes.
Yes, they do. Shall we play a game?
Well, dang. I guess I'll have to do some research to see if I can pass this test and convince Texty here that I'm not a toddler. Anyway, it's time to fire up the Bageltron 2000 and see where it sends me this week.
Bageltron 2000 is not a recognized game. Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
Never mind, Texty. Cancel.
Acknowledged.
Okay. Great. The portal is up. Everything looks stable, so let's hop on through. Wow, I'm not in a garage anymore. This looks like a really opulent house. Even I would say a mansion. It's big in here. There's some really nice furniture. Hello? Hello?
Max. You're here. Good. I need more coffee.
I don't know where the coffee is. I just came from a portal down the hall here.
What are you talking about? What is that in your hand?
Oh, I'm recording this for documenting my travels to different dimensions. I came from another dimension.
Recording?
I'm not from this universe.
What?
Max, do you understand how much trouble we can get in? I'm required by Senate rules to disclose this.
So, I don't know who you are. We have a U.S. Senator visiting? Or do you live here? Is this your house?
U.S. Senator?
There's no U.S. senators on this side of the continent. They're thousands of miles away in the United States.
Of course.
This is Cascadia. You work in my office.
Yeah.
This is Cascadia, not the United States.
Yes. Obviously, you work for us.
Again, no, I'm actually from another dimension. You may notice that
Is that why you're dressed so weird?
Yeah, I'm dressed pretty different. I'm not dressed the way that somebody would dress who worked in the office of a senator. At least
or
not in my
like
world.
An adult.
Like an adult. That's a little hurtful.
Well, maybe you should step it up a bit.
Well, where I'm from, this is pretty normal attire for an inventor, I guess, an engineer.
Criminals.
Okay, does everyone wear suits here, or is it just people who work in a professional environment like a senator's office?
People who actually do work, yes.
They wear suits.
Yes, adults.
In my world, at least in Seattle, it's pretty casual. It sounds like you're a lot more formal here.
Interesting.
Is it all of Cascadia that's formal in this way, or?
I don't think we even have the machines that can produce the clothes you're wearing.
The machines that can produce. Okay, hang on. Let's go back a little bit. You said something about getting you reported to something for the equipment I'm carrying. What was that about?
Yeah, you've got that black device type thing, and you said you're recording. That kind of technology is against the law without special approval. You're not in the military or a high government official.
That kind of technology. You mean the smartphone is against the law?
I don't know what you call it, but you can't have that here.
Mm-mm.
here in the senator's office?
In Cascadia.
Pretty much the whole North American continent.
Right.
Doesn't have any technology like this.
Only if you're authorized.
Okay, what kind of technology do you have?
Locomotives, transportation technology, but it's nothing like that.
So no smartphones. Do you have, I don't know, television here?
Television.
How about radio? You have radios here?
What's a radio?
Well, it's a device that receives signals over the air that plays music or news or things like that.
Sounds like a telegraph, but
Yeah.
those have wires.
Through the air. How does anything transfer through the air?
It transmits electromagnetic waves that propagate through the air, and there's devices that pick up these waves and then translate them into sound or video or things like that. You don't have anything like that here.
No.
That's insane.
That sounds dangerous.
Dangerous and insane. Okay.
We made the decision a couple hundred years ago that we couldn't deal with that type of technology. It's bad for society.
That's a lot of advancement in technology then that you guys just apparently haven't had compared to my world. So I could see why the concept of a smartphone would be pretty foreign to you. So without technology, I see a lot of really nice things in this house. These are not made in factories, mostly by machines that
No.
you don't have that kind of stuff.
No, most of our population has to be skilled laborers.
Right.
So they're actually handcrafting things like clothes and furniture and...
For the most part, ever since the Luddite uprising, that's why I said it was about 200 years ago.
The Luddites, I have heard of that in my world. Yeah, that was a pretty short-lived thing, though, and they were definitely not victorious in their movement.
Oh, we realized that they had it right.
Yeah.
Society needed to get rid of all that technology. It was undermining society, creating inequalities.
If I'm remembering my history correctly, the Luddites were worried about the security of their jobs being taken away by machines. Is that...
Exactly. We couldn't have half the population unemployed.
Well,
so we got rid of all the machines.
Well, I will say that hasn't happened in my world, at least...
Everybody's employed in your world?
Not everybody, but certainly there's not half the population unemployed. As we've created more and more technology, the types of jobs have just shifted. So tell me about the way that Cascadia is governed. You're a senator.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your name? Senator...
Robinson.
Senator Robinson. How many senators are there in Cascadia?
49.
How do you come up with 49 senators?
You need an odd number, of course, because you don't want to have tie votes.
Right.
Okay. And do you have a House of Representatives here as well?
What do you mean by House of Representatives?
So they don't have that over in the United States either? No House of Representatives there?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. They tried that for a few years, but it just didn't make sense to have two different houses of government, plus I think they had a president or a governor, and
Plus putting them in one house was just
it didn't
ridiculous.
Uh-huh. So you don't have a president here either?
Or
a governor?
We have an administrator.
Yeah.
Do they hold an office that's sort of similar in power to the Senate, or does the Senate have all the real power here?
Really, the Senate makes the decisions. The administrator just makes everything happen. He's like the HR person.
I see. Okay. So here in this mansion, I guess, this is where you live, or is this a part of the government buildings?
Oh, this is my office, but all senators are required to live in their offices.
Okay. And Wilson, do you live here too?
I assist, yes.
I see. It's a full-time job then, being a senator of Cascadia.
Absolutely.
And an assistant.
Yes.
And Max in this world, what's his role?
You are my assistant.
I'm the assistant to the assistant.
Yes.
The Max in this world.
Right.
I see. So not an inventor.
No. I don't think that's even a job.
Now, you pretty much have no real skills. You make the coffee.
Yeah. And not very well, I might add.
That's interesting because in my world, I feel like I actually do make a pretty decent coffee.
Maybe you could teach the Max here something.
Maybe. I can't really stay around for too long, though. My portal is only stable for so long. At least I'm only certain that it's stable for a certain amount of time, and I really don't want to get stuck in a world that's not my own.
You know, Wilson, I bet the reason he can't make coffee here is he doesn't have those machines that he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, that could be. You use a machine to make your coffee?
Probably just does the work for you.
There are quite a few different machines for making coffee, yeah. Although, usually when I'm making the coffee at home, I use a French press. You have those here? I mean, there's really no technology involved in the French press.
What is
torture
French?
What is French?
Yeah.
There's not The nation of France is not a thing here either.
It was 1,500 years ago.
But not anymore.
No, they were idiots. Snooty bastards with their wine.
Yeah,
That was a good
that
wine,
actually
though.
sounds pretty similar to my world. But France is still a thing there.
Yeah, Charlemagne got rid of them.
Got rid of them.
It was awesome.
Meaning what exactly?
Oh, they're all servants now.
Servants to who?
Well, the other areas around there.
The other nations in
Yeah,
Europe.
like the Swiss and Nordic countries.
The Nordic countries
Yeah, it's right across the mountains.
across the mountains from Switzerland.
Yeah. All right, so Max, tell me, in your world, do you not have any rules and laws about technology and how things get manufactured? Sounds like chaos.
There's really not that many rules. No, I mean, there are labor laws that require certain safety standards and, put a cap on the number of hours you can work, that kind of thing. But as far as producing technology, it's pretty Wild West out there. Anything you can dream up, you can kind of create it when it comes to technology.
This just sounds insane to me.
Yeah. And all this technology is beneficial to your society.
I'd say 50-50.
That's a low percentage.
That's the reason we got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do have some pretty amazing technology, as far as medical devices. We've got pacemakers that can keep people's heart pumping even after kind of naturally would give out. We've got...
So you artificially keep somebody alive that naturally would die.
We just use all those resources to make life better for everyone else. It doesn't seem to make sense to me to spend a lot of money making a fancy machine that is going to keep someone alive longer than they should have.
Longer than they should have.
Well, when your body goes out, you don't want to be suffering.
So what's the average lifespan here?
49.
Interesting. Are there minimum age requirements to be a senator?
Yeah, you have to be 40 years old.
You have to be 40 years old to be a senator.
It's really a gerontocracy.
I see.
We recognize the importance of experience and
Wisdom.
exactly.
Okay, so the average lifespan is 49, but you have to be 40 to be a senator. That's
just an average. We live normal lives. I'm 86 years old right now.
86. You do not look 86 years old. What is your diet
I would
like?
agree with him.
Vegetables,
Gravy.
a little bit of
Tobacco.
animal products. Pretty much normal for everyone else.
I
Carrier
guess
pigeons.
Is all organic food then? Is that...
What do you mean by organic?
Yeah. All food is organic.
It all has carbon in it.
Yeah, organic, like not treated with pesticides, that kind of thing. I guess you don't have chemicals that you treat your food with to make it grow bigger or kill the
we
weeds.
use like fertilizer and we, get rid of the weeds.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Get rid of the weeds how?
No, we just pick them.
Hard work.
You pick them. So
Yeah.
there's physical laborers whose job is just to pick weeds.
Yeah, you don't
course.
have farmers or gardeners in your world.
You machines do it all.
Actually in the farming industry, machines do probably do about 90% of the work, in my world.
It's a lazy population you have there.
I'm not really going to argue with that. Yeah, there is a lot of laziness in my world. Yeah, but it's actually pretty great. I kind of like being lazy,
It shows.
Again, that's really hurtful.
As intended.
I've met a lot of Wilsons as I've traveled to different dimensions, and most of them I get along with pretty well, which is kind of surprising because in my dimension, you're kind of a jerk, but here, I think you may actually be more of a jerk
Really?
than in my dimension.
Maybe you should go back to your dimension then.
Maybe I should go back
Be
to my
comforted by your
dimension.
machines.
You try spending 25 years in politics and not get jaded.
So you've been a senator for 25 years, and you've
No,
been
Wilson's been my assistant. I've been a senator for almost 40.
Yeah.
40 years. So you don't have term limits here then, I take it.
No.
Death.
Remember, it's a gerontocracy. We appreciate experience.
Uh-huh.
A reasoned and steady hand at the helm.
I see.
And a strong stick.
Okay. What are the primary economic drivers here in Cascadia? What do most people do for work?
Oh, we've got a pretty solid farming economy. Export a lot of apples, wheat, that sort of thing.
Okay, so apples, wheat, what other kinds of crops do you tend to grow a lot of here in Cascadia?
Flowers.
For eating?
Sometimes, yeah.
We have to have rose salads every single day.
Rose salads.
Yeah. Rose petal salads.
Is that something that's reserved
it's federally mandated.
for everyone?
You bet.
Wow, that must be a lot of roses then.
Yeah, I think we use 1,000,000 or so a day.
A million roses a day. Okay. Without technology, do you have freezers or how do you preserve things?
There's a difference between not having technology and not embracing it. Something like an icebox is totally fine.
I see. So when roses are out of season, you still have vast storehouses, I assume, in order to satisfy the 1,000,000 roses per day consumption?
Absolutely.
Aha.
We also do have greenhouses. Do you have greenhouses there?
Greenhouses where we grow crops, yeah. Makes it easier to grow out of season. There's greenhouses with lots of roses then?
Correct.
About how many people would you say are rose farmers in Cascadia?
About a third of the population?
There's a pretty sizable amount of employment in the rose farming industry then.
It smells great, though.
That makes sense that it would smell great. Is that...
You open up that icebox right there. Take a whiff.
Oh, okay. Let me just check this out. That does smell really great. Yeah.
Well, we don't really have any other choice. I can tell that you're wearing some kind of chemical that I can smell. We don't have that kind of thing. Is it like a scented fragrance thing that you put on your bodies?
I pretty much just have deodorant on, which is it's a pretty standard thing everybody wears. It does have a little bit of a scent, I guess. I don't really notice it.
Are you trying to smell like a woman?
No. This is actually a man's deodorant that I'm wearing. Yeah. It's definitely not a woman's scent.
It's interesting.
I guess we have a different definition of woman.
Yeah. I myself smell like a man.
And what does a man smell like here?
Like this. Here, smell right here. Smell that?
I do smell that. Okay. That's what a man smells like, I guess.
You are correct.
Darn straight.
Uh-huh. So what does a woman smell like?
About the same.
All right.
I can attest my wife smells pretty much exactly like Wilson.
I see.
That can be confusing sometimes.
Sure, if you were walking around blindfolded or something? Is that...
Every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night.
Sometimes when you get a little confused going back after going to the bathroom, you open the wrong bedroom.
Right, because you all live here in this mansion as mandated by federal law.
Yes.
Right. Each of the 49 senators has their own residence. Is that how that works?
Well, you have to have an office for you and your staff.
I see. And the office is the same place that they live.
Well, it makes sense. That way you can stay in better communication. You've been talking about these smartphones. We have to just yell down the hall or send a telegraph.
When you're communicating between senators, do you mostly use telegraph or...
We've got this really cool system of tubes. And you put a message in this little vacuum tube. It's a little bit high tech, but we made an exception for important government offices. And it goes right between the 49 different government buildings.
So it's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes.
It's a series of tubes.
And those shoot the messages from one office to the other.
Exactly.
I see. All right, well, I really should be getting back. Thanks for sharing about your government system here. Good luck with whatever it is that you're working on these days. Thanks for the time, Senator. I'm going to be sure to take all my technology with me, so don't worry about that.
That's good. Otherwise, I'd have to fire Wilson.
Well, I would hate to have that happen. Well, actually, no. On second thought, I wouldn't really mind because you are kind of a jerk here. So, see you never.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Gladly.
Thanks for the visit.
All right. Good. Portal is still here. Everything looks great, so hopping back through. All right. I'm going to shut this thing down, and I've logged the coordinates of Luddite world, I guess. I don't know. That was pretty different as far as the way that this whole society runs. I don't know. That'd be pretty tough to get used to, I think, for me. But, I guess on the other hand, at least I don't have to worry about AI taking over and everyone being out of a job. So that's one plus. It is interesting to note that I did finally meet a Wilson that's more of a jerk than my roommate. So I guess that's a milestone? I don't know. I'm going to take some readings here, compare notes to the previous visits, and try this all again in a week.
Dispatches from the Multiverse is produced by Tim Ellis, starring Scott Trapp as Wilson, who smells like a man, and Tim Ellis as Max, with special guests John Earling as Senator Robinson and Jeni Ellis as Texty, the all-text phone. Theme music by Alpha Geek, logo by Abe Schmidt. Follow us on Twitter at DispatchesFM and visit us online at dispatches.fm.